It's time for the Instigator, the in-your-face hockey podcast that is loaded with controversy and criticism. This hockey talk rant will spark your hockey thoughts and opinions. When controversy happens in the hockey world, the Instigator is there to fire off their opinion. You may agree, but you just might wholeheartedly disagree. That's what brings you back. Get ready for in-your-face hockey talk and controversy. The Instigator is hosted by Brad Baroud and is a production of Inside Edge Hockey News Radio.
Just missed. They gave him a whack, and Doughty gives Tkachuk a slash, and they exchange pleasantries. Didn't see much of this between them tonight, but first bit of on-ice animosity between Matthew Tkachuk and Drew Doughty.
Well, it's going to be interesting. Is Doughty going to get an extra two? I know they're both going, but I'm unsure.
It is time for the Instigator Hockey Podcast, episode 28. Recorded on March 28th, 2019, I am Brad Baroud from Inside Edge Hockey News, the host of the show. And today on the show, we're going to talk about Drew Doughty and why he has an attitude in comments and the timing of his negative comments. What are you going to gain from those comments? And why are you starting feuds to try to make yourself look better? Your team is in last. Your play has been subpar. I'm not sure that now is the time to be spouting off. A big thanks goes out to our sponsor, One Timer Hockey. Great hockey themed t-shirts. Order yours today at teespring.com/onetimerhockey.com.
NHL news, opinions, and controversy.
This week, the last place Los Angeles Kings and defenseman Drew Doughty visited Calgary. Normal game. Calgary's in first. LA's in last. Should be meaningless, right? Well, the fireworks really didn't happen on the ice. They happened off the ice, and they happened before the game. When Drew Doughty was interviewed, Erik of the Calgary Flames media did a great job of reporting this too. Drew Doughty first just teed off on Matthew Tkachuk. His quote was, "I have no respect for him, none. I respect everyone else. I'll never talk to him off the ice. He's not respected by most of the people in the league. It's just not me. That's just the facts." Well, I would argue that. I think Matthew Tkachuk came into the league as a rookie. Probably made some poor decisions with some of his plays and some of his attitude. But for the most part has learned and turned into what's the prototypical goal-scoring pest that every team wants. He's matured, yeah. In 2017, Tkachuk gave Doughty a brutal elbow to the face. He received a 2-game suspension for that. That was 2 years ago. Well, ever since then, Drew Doughty's been chasing him around the ice, and quite honestly, Matthew Tkachuk has lived rent-free in Drew Doughty's head since that day, because all Drew Doughty can talk about when he plays the Calgary Flames is Matthew Tkachuk and what a little brat he is and what a little pest he is and how he has no respect for him. Well, you know what? Maybe we don't really respect Drew Doughty now. Comments like that kind of hurt your own image, don't they? What's Drew Doughty care what Matthew Tkachuk's doing? Shouldn't Drew Doughty be worried about winning hockey games and trying to get his team to turn things around? Well, if that wasn't bad enough, then Drew Doughty took it a step further. After praising Calgary Flames defenseman Mark Giordano, saying he should win the Norris because he is the best defensive and offensive forward in the league, and how he feels that the league gets forgotten and this award should be given to the true best defenseman, with the keyword defenseman. And I agree with Drew Doughty on this one wholeheartedly. I do fully agree that this award gets skewed into a popularity contest. Well, those comments were pretty accurate. And you know what? Comments you'd expect to hear in a pregame skate respecting your opponent. But Drew Doughty just can't keep his mouth shut. And that's when he took it a step further and called out Brent Burns of the San Jose Sharks and says that he gets walked 2 to 3 times a game, literally, and everybody takes him and gives him the Norris. I don't get it, he said. Well, I don't argue with that statement, to be honest with you. But I don't know that you should be calling him out in the media when you really don't have any reason to, or weren't even asked about it. He wasn't even asked what his thoughts on Brent Burns. I might even have been okay with it if he was asked straight up about Brent Burns and he gave his opinion honestly. Because I think that it's good to give your opinion. I love opinions. That's what I do on the show. But he wasn't even brought up. He brought him up. I think that's kind of a slippery slope. And he even ripped Erik Karlsson along the way and threw his name into there. So I'm not sure how that all fits in. But here's my message. Like, I see it in everyday life, and I don't understand it. But if Drew Doughty thinks that we're going to respect his play and respect him more as a player by dragging down other players and degrading other players to make yourself look better, it's a pretty sad tactic. Instead of chasing Matthew Tkachuk around and throwing, opinions about other players when not asked about them, maybe you should worry about your own team and your own game. Matthew Tkachuk hasn't done anything cheap to Drew Doughty since that elbow, and he paid his fine. Or he paid his suspension, his time. I had to laugh during the game. Matthew Tkachuk went to check Drew Doughty. Drew Doughty turned around and took a 2-hand baseball slash to the ankles of Matthew Tkachuk. So who's really the cheap player now? Is it Drew Doughty or is it Matthew Tkachuk? Well, I can't answer one question. I know that Drew Doughty was taken off his game more by Matthew Tkachuk than Matthew Tkachuk was taken off his game by Drew Doughty. It was evident. So next time you're in the media, I don't think that Drew Doughty should be spouting off about other players, especially when not asked about them. Mind your own business, worry about your own play.
InsideEdgeHockeyNews.com.
Thanks for listening to this episode of The Instigator, brought to you by One Timer Hockey. Hockey t-shirts for hockey fans. Check out InsideEdgeHockeyNews.com for all your hockey news. Follow us on all forms of social media. And most importantly, download The Instigator on your favorite podcatcher. We can be found on Spreaker, SoundCloud, iTunes, iHeart, YouTube, and Spotify. Thank you for listening. Enjoy this week's hockey action, and always voice your hockey opinions.
Inside Edge Hockey News on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Google+. Get connected.
Thanks for listening to The Instigator. Check back for future episodes or download the show on your favorite podcatcher. Keep up to date with all the hockey news at Inside Edge Hockey News. And check us out on all forms of social media. Until next rant, take care and enjoy the hockey action.
This has been a production of Inside Edge Hockey News Radio, copyrighted and distributed by the Inside Edge Hockey Media Group.